my birth, the land where the wild wind whistles. You may sit on a rose, you may sit on a leek, but you won't sit long on a thistle. Now, it takes me to a Welsh theme. Few musicians have gone from teaching in South Wales to international fame in the space of just a couple of years. But that's what's happened to Katherine Jenkins. The former Welsh Choir Girl of the Year has been #1 in the classical charts. She's made 3 best-selling albums, headlined at the Tsunami benefit concert and at the VE Day commemorations. But despite being little bigger than Pavarotti's mid-morning snack, she's also at home on the rugby pitch. Welcome. Lovely to see you here.
And you.
Just a couple of obvious questions, I suppose. You have had this extraordinary boost to your career. You come from a relatively normal background and all the rest of it. What was the sort of rocket fuel that's propelled you into this position, do you think? Where does it come from inside?
Well, I've been singing all my life, so it feels like, I've sort of been on a slow progression to get here. But I would say definitely in the last, I think it's 3 years since I actually signed my record contract. And I've just been so fortunate. I've had so much support from some people in Wales. And I think a lot of that has to do with me singing at the rugby, which is something I'm so very proud of, to be involved with the Welsh rugby team.
Yeah. and I'm sure they feel likewise. The albums that you've done have been what people would call crossover albums, bringing classical music or classical tunes to a much wider audience, perhaps, than has them in the past. As you mature as a singer, presumably the voice changes a little bit. And I'm wondering whether you have an ambition. You've achieved so many ambitions already, the Sydney Opera House and all the rest of it, but actually doing big opera roles on stage, Covent Garden, all that kind of thing.
I'd love to. I'm 25 now, and I'm told that as a mezzo-soprano, my voice is not going to be fully developed until I'm about 30. So my long-term dream is maybe by the time I'm 30 to be able to play the role of Carmen, and also to be able to make my CD. So that would be the dream thing to do when I'm 30.
Well, we'll be hearing from you in full-throated song in a little bit. But thank you very much indeed for coming on this morning. Now, my next guest is a traitor. Well, he plays a traitor, an exiled spy in Alan Bennett's wonderful play, The Old Country.
At responding to all the needs of their patients.
Well, let's see. We hope so. Listen, thank you very much to all of you. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. The glorious closing ceremony of the Commonwealth Games is here on BBC One in a minute, and the Prime Minister talks to our colleagues on Radio 5 Live later this evening. We're back at the same time next Sunday morning, and we will have adjusted, well, I will have adjusted to British summertime more or less by then, but as promised, we end this morning equally gloriously with Katherine Jenkins. This is Amazing Grace.
Amen.